everyone, welcome back to my channel, DIY Decor. So this first DIY, I'm going to use this 2-inch table saw that I got from Harbor Freight. I love this thing. So it only will cut small pieces of wood, but it was perfect for these jenga blocks. So I'm going to be doing some straight cuts, and I'm also going to be doing some 45-degree miter cuts. So we're going to take these wooden planks from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to use 3 of these. And then using these jenga blocks, I'm just going to build a frame. So I found it the easiest to do the corners first, to miter those 45 degrees. And then fill in the center with the jenga block. And then just take it, I just lined it up and then just put a mark on it and then did a straight cut on it. And it was just a whole lot easier to do a straight cut than trying to figure out the cut on the ends on the corner. So I did the corners first and then I did in between. And I do this on all 4 sides. And then I'm able to start putting my frame together. And before I start gluing the pieces down, I do take my sanding sponge and give them a little bit of sanding. Clean off of those edges, and then I can start hot gluing them together. Now, you definitely could use a wood glue. You could even turn them over on the back side and staple them. I'm a glue gun girl, and glue gun is what I used. So again, I go all the way around, and then I have this frame around this wooden plank. Now, the back of it, this is how I'm going to get the plank to stick inside the frame. I'm going to take this felt from the Dollar Tree, and I just trace around it, cut off a piece. I'm going to trim up any excess pieces. And I'm going to hot glue that felt right to the wooden plank, and then I will add hot glue to all the edges of the felt to glue onto our frame of jenga blocks. And that keeps that plank right inside that frame. Now I do 3 of these. So now I'm going to take the apple barrel in the color burnt umber, and I'm just giving it all one good coat, making sure I do the insides and the outside edges as well. And before they are completely dry, I'm going to take the Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, and I'm going to do a brushing of this. Now, it's not completely dry, as I said, so it is going to kind of mix in with that burnt umber color. And I'm just going to do the actual plank. And I do this to all 3. Now for the outside, I'm going to use the color ink. And I'm going to give it a good dry brushing all along the outside. And again, I do this on all 3. So I just thought that using the kind of lighter colors in the center and then the more darker colors on the outside would just give it a little bit more depth and dimension and contrast. So I'm going to write This Is Us. Now, I thought about doing Home Sweet Home, and then I decided to go back to This Is Us. But as you see here, I'm just writing it with my pencil, and I did not like the way it turned out. No big deal. Don't be afraid to try this. I just dip my brush in some water, and go right over top of it, and all that writing just disappears. Now I do wait for a few minutes for it to dry up, and then I'm going to take this Sharpie and I'm going to go back and rewrite "This is us." Now the line's not going to be very dark. I could see it better than you actually can in the video, but because the paint is still kind of wet, you can't see the lines as well. You could totally wait for this to completely dry and then write your words, but I knew I wanted to paint them. So I use the ink, and I use a small angled brush, and I'm just going to start filling in those lines that I had written on each plank. Now, if you did not want to paint this, like I said, you could wait for it to completely dry and use a Sharpie, or you could use a paint pen. You could use a Cricut, even a stencil, or you could print it out on computer paper. Whatever you wanted to do. The sky's the limit. So now I have my words on here. I'm going to attach these to some of this rope. This is a little bit thicker twine that I actually get from Walmart. It comes on a big roll. It's about $4 or $5, but you get a lot for your money. And I'm just going to take and glue the pieces behind each of the little planks here. And then I'm going to put a bow at the top. So I'm going to use this black and white buffalo plaid ribbon. And I'm just going to hot glue my ends just a little bit, just so they'll stick. And then I'm going to scrunch it up in the middle, get a piece of jute twine, wrap it around there, tie a knot. I also add tails before I tie the knot, and I just get the length that I want. I go ahead and ducktail the ends, pinch that center together, and then knot it all in a bunch. Then I decided that I just wanted to tie it to the top of my rope as well. I was going to hot glue it, but I go ahead and get another piece of that jute twine and tie it around the bow and around the top of my jute twine where I'm going to hang my sign. Fluff out my bow, and here it is. Now, I was not happy with this. I just felt it was too dark and almost gloomy. So I do go back over my words with the white paint, the plaster, and I like this much, much, much better. You guys let me know what you think. I think this adds a perfect touch of country rustic charm. Now for this second DIY, so I had printed out this bunny head and I traced it on a canvas. I had taken this canvas off of a frame and I traced it on this canvas, but it was just too big. So I take that same bunny cut out and I fold it in half and I just cut it down to make it smaller and then retrace it onto the canvas, and then I cut the canvas out. And here is my frame that I had taken that canvas off of. I have a piece of this buffalo check fabric, and I'm just going to glue it to the back of the frame. And after I glue it, I do press it down and try to pull it towards me to make it taut. And then we're going to glue the bunny head on top of the fabric. This is just some little pieces of floral picks that I had left over, and I just pulled the petals off, and I'm going to cut the back down a little bit. I grabbed some of this purple and this kind of off-white color, and I'm just going to start stacking them, and I'm going to glue them together and then attach them in between the ears of the bunny. And then I had a few pieces left over, so I put 2 more single flowers or single petals at the top, and then I put 1 at the bottom. Now this frame was looking rough. Usually they're not that bad, but for some reason this one was the top and the bottom, there wasn't a lot of difference. There was a lot of staple holes in it. So I'm just going to use this burlap ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to glue it all along the edges. And I do cut the corners at an angle. I thought it just made it look a little bit more coherent. And when we get that finished, you know we're going to add a bow. So I have some of this purple burlap ribbon. I actually got this at a thrift store. It was in a bag full of other ribbons. So I just cut off a piece, and I'm going to fold it on itself and take my jute twine and tie a knot around the center and make a little bow. So I wanted to pull in some of that pink from those flowers as well. So I'm going to use this pink satin ribbon from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to make a shoelace bow. I leave some tails on there. I cut the tails in an upward direction, and we're going to glue it right to the center of the burlap bow. And then I'm going to glue it to the bottom of our little bunny head. And here is a very cute spring sign. You guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I hope you give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time.